Hello and welcome to another episode of Amiga Retro Adventures. Today it's a tutorial on how to get Roadshow, which is a TCP IP stack for the Amiga series of computers, up and running on a Vampire card in my Amiga 500 using the El Cheapo but very effective Arduino type shield, which happens to be Ethernet. And I believe it's 100 megabits per second that it does. Because in the Apollo Core 2.9, they graciously enabled the SPI port on the Vampire card for the 500. And as you can see, it's wired up and functioning. But like anything else, hardware-wise, it's fine. But excuse me while I try to position this. There we go. You need software, obviously, to make the magic happen. So as you can see, I've took the liberty of unpacking everything I need into RAM, the Roadshow archive itself, the update. If you buy it now, it probably comes with this update, so you don't need to apply it, because I bought mine over probably a year or two ago. And of course, the Sega driver 1.3, because not only is it the graphics card driver, it also has the new Vampire Ethernet driver as well. So now that it's unpacked by using my favorite tool, and pretty much anyone that owns an Amiga would be familiar with, is Directory Opus, albeit this is an older version, but it functions just fine. So I unpacked everything into RAM, and you see it right here. So first things first, let us install the software, because that's always a good place to start. So I will install Roadshow. Just leave it on the intermediate user, it's fine. And then proceed. Sure, I like special versions, so hit yes. Now it wants to know where to install it. I will put it in the Internet folder, and it will create one itself called Roadshow, so that's all I have to do. Click on Proceed. Ta-da! Okay, I'm not going to reboot right now. And now I might as well install the patch, since I'm in here. And it progresses just fine. Proceed. I don't speak Polish, so I will say no. And it's successful, and we don't have to reboot right now because I have other plans. So let's go back to Directory Opus. Okay. So this we shall open up is a Sega driver. The folder itself, go inside, and we need devs and networks. This is what we need right there. So go to the DH0 partition, or your system partition, basically your boot drive. And same idea, go into devs. Go into networks. Now I already have it in there from before, but let's say I don't have it in there. Click on that, copy, and ta-da, that is finished. Okay, so that part is done. Now what we have to do is we have to do something with the network interfaces. As you see on the partition, DH0 right here, there's nothing in there. We need to add something. So what we need to do is if you go to DH0 on this pane, and in storage, Roadshow graciously copied a whole bunch in here, lots of them. There isn't one specifically for the Vampire Ethernet, partly because it's very new, but we can copy any of these and modify them accordingly. So let us grab my favorite, this one here. So I shall copy that. But let's rename that, because I don't actually have this card and I don't want to cause mass confusion. So I call it V2. Whoops. Excuse me for my horrifying typing skills, but that's the way it works. V2 Ethernet. And that's it. And being an older version of Dopus, I actually have to rename the info file as well. Oops. One moment. V2 Ethernet. And it looks like I didn't make a mistake. Okay, perfect. Now we need to edit this file. So I shall click on that. I don't want the info though, and click on edit. And it opens the, oops, one moment. Yes, I love that. Anyways, let us continue on our voyage. Okay, you don't really have to call it whatever. That doesn't matter. Anything that has the number sign, I'm not going to say hashtag, even though I just did, but that's a number sign, and this right here, we need to change that. So the device is not what I actually called it. The device is, if I go back there now again, so I don't forget, DH0, devs, where are we? No, not internet, networks, right there. So v2 exp Ethernet.device. So I shall change that to v2 exp, which I guess stands for experimental, whatever, ETH. I am not typing in here. Let's try this again. v2, why is it doing this? I hate editors just because I can't type. Okay, here we go. v2 exp ETH, and where's delete? There we go. Dot device. So let us double check that's actually how it's spelled. v2 exp ETH dot device. Yeah. So I guess Vampire 2 experimental Ethernet dot device. This is very important because it needs to open that device. If you misspell it, you will get an error trying to initialize the network. So we move down here, and you can use just DHCP. I also like to assign a static IP address, or at least it can still use DHCP, but it will try to request a specific IP address. So for my system, it'll be .1, and I believe I want to give it 25, not 125. Whatever you do, do the opposite of me, and you'll be just fine. I still failed. 1 second. This is also important. There's no room for error. Bear with me. Ta-da! Success! And might as well give it the net mask as well. Perfect. So that's fine. Everything else is pretty much commented off with the number signs. I'm going to comment this off because this might be specific for the other card that I copied the profile from. And if I can get a hold of this, there we go. So we'll go over it again. Basically, once again, unit 0 is the default. I don't think we have to enable that. But address, I gave it an IP address. The net mask and the DHCP should be enabled. So that is fine. Now I shall save this. It is saved. And let's just double click on it to make sure it actually saved. Looks nice. Everything checks out. I don't think I made a typo, but like I said, if when you initialize the network, if you made a typo, you will get an error window that will pop up. Okay, so that one is done. Okay, now one thing I like to do is if you go into the S directory and go down to user startup, and there we are, and select edit. The install of Roadshow enables it by default. I don't like it enabled by default. I like to initialize the internet connection when it's required. I have found some programs just don't like it when a TCP IP stack is running. I don't know why, but safe than sorry. So this will stop it from booting, like initializing and connecting to your network when your computer reboots. So now we can do it manually by using, in the same directory of the S directory, there is a program called, a script, network startup. And that's all it looks like. You don't have to edit anything in here, but you see where the magic happens. The add net interface, anything that's in devs, net interfaces, will be run. So it's a good idea just to keep the card that you have in there, just one. The other ones you can move them, elsewhere, but we only have the one anyways. So just to double check, we can go back to DH0, devs, network interfaces, and there we've got it. And that's it. I think we shall know. One thing to mention though, let me go back to, this is just a quickie here. I go back to the network startup. You can add commands after this. To show you an example, I do have a backup of my system before I uninstalled this for this instructional video. It's called Roadshow. I go to net interface. There's no S. Here we go. So this is the one that I was using. Same as the one I just showed you before, but I added, this is basically a time server that it connects to. And the next program basically sets daylight savings time. So my clock, every time it connects to the internet, I get the correct time and the correct daylight savings time as well. So you can add whatever programs you want to run afterwards, network related or whatever, after that command. So no big deal. Okay, we will reboot and pray to the gods that this works. One moment. As you can see, I have a tower of boxes. I have no camera stand, I apologize. This is booting. There we go. Okay then, so with a bit of success, now with the Coffin OS, it's basically a modified Amiga install that gives you lots of Apollo related like vampire software and gadgetry and coolness, demos, games, all that fun stuff. It does come with a network. I can go online, offline. It basically runs that script, but for the sake of this video, I will do it manually. So I'll click on here. I will type actually S network and startup. And hit enter. Okay, I have failed in my quest, and that's easy to fix. The wrong flag is set. It's not set as an executable, so I should actually have it set up as a script. So I will try the protect command and S noops network startup. I believe it's plus S. Okay, and now let me try to run it. There we go. Now I could have put execute and then S networks startup, but it's just easier that way, less typing, because as you see, my typing is very bad. So I didn't get an error, so that is a bonus. So I shall close that again, but actually just to show you, if I try to run it again, it will open up a window, which I don't know what to do with, but I will ignore that, because when I don't know what to do with stuff, I just ignore it. That's how I live my life, I guess. Close. Now the ultimate test. Do we have internet? I will now launch Eyebrows. And let's go to Aminet. Just to make sure this isn't the cache from when I had everything installed before that's in the browser, let me try to download something. And let me see here. Something sizable? How about the Vampire 2D demo? There you go. Success. We are online and we are going. And as you can see, now it's only showing about 80 for this Ethernet adapter, like basically characters per second is like, 80 K per second, like kilobytes per second, roughly. But it actually is faster than that. It's Aminet. If I network to my other computers, like the Amiga, believe it or not, my 1200 or the PC, I get around 300, which isn't too bad because I bought a Plip box previously and it gets about 50 through the parallel port, which is not amazing, but if it's better than no internet at all. I will just abort that and close. And that's it. That's all there is to that. And you're basically online. And the beauty of this is if you have, it has the Coffin OS, I can basically go into network, go offline. Because now if I try to go into, it just issues a command through the Roadshow software. If I try this again, yeah, it's gone. So it's bonus. You can actually include, you can actually control the internet online, online or offline, whenever you want. And that is it. Feel free, obviously, to pause the video on any of these steps. But hopefully this will help people set up Roadshow to work with the Vampire Ethernet. Now this can be applied to any adapter. What I just did is pretty much, it's identical. It's not really any different. I will also leave links on how to, one moment, on how to wire this from the SPI port to the Ethernet header that's on there. And that should make it pretty much straightforward. I'll also put a few other links on there for various other items of interest, like for Roadshow, and I believe I'm going to include the link for the, one moment here, the other piece of software, that is it, for the, gee, I can't actually think of that. Let me open up Directory Opus, it tells everything. For the, one moment here, it's, yes, the Sega driver. Thank you for bearing with me. And that is it. Hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions, just leave some comments and I will get back to you. Thank you very much once again, and definitely thanks for watching.